Mother said she would bring us salvation. It was a glorious message, and for that she gained a devoted following. As for me, how could I doubt the woman who pulled me from the fiery wreck, who raised me as her own? I thought that together we would save the Sky Realm, even if it meant cutting down any who opposed us. But over time, the sacrifices began to mount. I struggled. My reason battled with my heart, which battled with my conscience. Mother was pure and righteous, but to sacrifice the entire Sky Realm... No. She just lost her way for a bit. She'd wake up one day and see she had strayed. As her child, as her defender, I wanted to believe that she'd change for me. Even at the very end, when I was forced to turn my sword on her, I was praying for an alternative. Any alternative. But she would not repent. And I was confronted with the full force of the atrocities I'd committed in Avia's name. But there was one light left to guide me.
Just follow your heart. It might lead you to scary places, but at least you'll know you're being true to yourself.
Thank you, Lyria. If you hadn't reminded me of my own strength, I'd still be in the dark following Lilith. I swear to you that I will fix even more than I destroyed. And one day, perhaps I will be worthy of your forgiveness. "15 years ago, Dolly fell prey to a violent catastrophe. One that still lives etched in my mind. There was an explosion. Immense and sudden. My home went up in flames, and with it the only life I had ever known. People were fleeing and dying in all directions. The air was filled with screams, and the smell of burning. Then, I heard it. The soul-piercing roar of a dragon. My short life should have come to an end that day. Except...
Shh. It's okay. Let me be the one to save you.
Salvation came in the form of a kind woman. Her name was Lilith, prophet of the pilgrims of Avia. From that day forth, she was both my mother and mentor. I worshipped her. And the thing about devotion is, it makes you blind. Mother had followers in the hundreds, thousands, and my simple child's mind thought, well, if this many people have faith in her, she has to be good, right? I wanted desperately to be of use to her. So I trained to be the perfect guardian.
Young Id, one day you shall be as mighty as I.
General Galanza taught me how to fight.
You wouldn't want the other pilgrims saying you're riding your mother's coattails, would you? Then you must prove yourself.
General Magliel taught me why we fight. Her training was harsh, but that's how I acquired the makings of a general. All effort, no nepotism. Finally, I had some value to Mother. Her sharpest sword. I never felt happier or more accomplished. I thought we were going to save the Sky Realm. The naivete of it all. After we captured the Shaman of Salvation for Lilith's cause, I was assigned to be the girl's keeper. That made me enemy number one to the Grand Cypher's crew. Every time I took Lyria to a primal beast altar, they'd be there, and we'd fight. I mean, there was a time or two we had to cooperate to prevent widespread calamity. That's beside the point. They were standing in the way of Lilith's mission, opening a path to the Promised Land to Astalucia, and bringing salvation to all Sky Dwellers. Salvation. It's a powerful word in a messed up world like ours. I wonder everyone got roped in by her lies. Lilith was no more than an astral desperate to return to her home dimension, and she would have sacrificed the whole Sky Realm to do it. I tried to reason with her. Might as well have asked an avalanche to change course. So I turned to prayer. But what are hopes and belief without action? So left with no other choice, I joined the crew of the Grand Cypher to dispatch my own mother. But I never could have foreseen what would happen next. Lilith did something, and freed a monster from within me. The dragon I'd seen the day Dolly burned, with wings so vast they overshadowed all of Sega Grande. Bahamut Versa. But then I learned, Bahamut didn't cause the Dolly calamity. It had come to stop it. It was Lilith who killed my family and razed my home. She'd only let me live for one reason. She needed a vessel to seal the dragon in, and I was conveniently nearby. She'd raised me to win my loyalty and protect herself from the god of destruction now living inside me. But when I stopped being of use to her, she abandoned me and let me turn into Bahamut. I don't know how to describe the feeling of flesh melting into scales, a fire filling your stomach. All human warmth, human blood seemed to rush from my veins, and it was replaced by an overwhelming urge to destroy. It was like being swept away in a torrent. Any attempt to fight it only made the suffering worse. I was so tempted to give in. But the crew wouldn't let me. Apparently, the captain was sure I wouldn't lose my soul battle with Bahamut. So to help me along, they decided to beat on the dragon from the outside until he coughed me up. Yeah, not the most elaborate plan. But it worked. The whole time they were fighting, they called my name, and the sound of their voices brought me back. I split myself from Bahamut, then joined the crew to take it down. We had our losses, though. Bahamut hit me and the captain with a blow that sent us hurtling into another dimension. A man named Roland dove in to save us, sacrificing himself along the way. And that's how we came back to Folca without him. Roland used to be the local Mr. Fix-It, by the way. And I took up that mantle. I owed him that much, and I figured it'd be a first step in making amends. And that's where this new chapter in my life begins. Me, as the new Mr. Fix-It. After clearing up some requests, I thought I'd earn some, respect, honor, from the Crew Alliance Rafale. But it seems you can't buy forgiveness so easily.
Ahem. So I believe we're all aware of Avia's assault on Seed Hollow.
She looked straight at me as she spoke. The actions of the pilgrims, myself included, had left a number of locals without homes. There was a plan to resettle volunteers in Tempio. give them a fresh start.
They're going to be out in the open, moving, building. This includes children and the elderly. Your job would be to protect the settlers until their homes are up. Trustworthy Skyfarers only.
Hey, don't push yourself. You can sit this one out, you know.
Rackham lay a hand on my shoulder, but I shook my head at him. We take it. This is right. I couldn't stay stuck in the past forever. I needed to move on. I needed to help those I hurt move on. It wasn't an easy choice, though. Our patron, the family who was bankrolling this mission, didn't know I'd worked for Avia. And I didn't know if I had the guts to tell them. Yeah, I know. How am I supposed to atone for crimes I'm too scared to admit? Still, one step at a time. Too much of a coward to take responsibility? Fine. I could at least start by repairing some of the damage I'd done. I'd make sure the settlers built in peace. And if one of them happened to find out about my past, then that would be that. I'd accept whatever punishment they saw fit to give me. It didn't matter where I hid or how far I ran. Retribution would find me eventually.
I'm your Rose.
Is this a drill?
My katana's all sharpened and ready.
Yep, let's move out.
It is an honor.
The ride to Tempeal was uneventful. The proposed relocation site was set near an old storehouse by the river. There was water here, and the building could be repurposed for homes. The migrants dragged their feet and often looked back towards Seed Hollow. Most had been born and raised there. We'd been hired as bodyguards, but for the time being at least, all was quiet. Just the sound of wind and running water. Patrols didn't take long, and only 1 or 2 people had to go at a time. The rest of us found other ways to keep busy. Carrying supplies, repairing the storehouse, prepping materials, cooking. Whatever needed doing, we did it. While the adults were building the new body of the village, the children, they were forming the new heart of it. It's amazing how kids can find happiness in just about anything. The world's fresh and new to them. Down by the river, they discovered unfamiliar plants and bugs with funny shapes. In the old storehouse, they looked for hidden treasure and lost stories. Sure, sometimes they got in the way of work and were scolded, but you could tell the adults appreciated having the kids around. It gave them hope. Io and Lyria were their self-appointed babysitters. They called it serious work, but it looked like fun and games to me. Those kids didn't have a care in the world. Well, all except one of them. There was a girl who would always glance my way, pretty much from day one of this job. I say girl, but she was a Harvin, so her age was hard to pinpoint. But she played with the kids more than she worked, so I assumed. Anyways, turned out she was a teenager. That would explain the looks she gave me. I don't think any kid could have been filled with such fear, such anger, such hate. Didn't take much to guess why she had a grudge against me. But she made sure I knew. It happened one day when I was on my way to the storehouse to stack some freight. She was in my path, And since I had a load of boxes in my arms, I almost bowled her over.
Don't come closer!
Her voice was loud and shrill. I won't hurt you. I promise.
Yeah, right. Everyone else might have forgotten you, but I haven't. We're here because of you.
Her name was Shiraloo, 14 years old. Parents volunteered to come on this resettlement mission after they had lost their livelihoods back in Seed Hollow. She had reason to hate me. During this whole exchange, I felt strangely relieved. No more waiting in the shadows, trying to work up the courage to atone. Atonement had come for me.
Why are you here? To take our new homes?
Never. I only wished I were better with words. To convey even a fraction of the guilt I felt. To give her even the slightest comfort. Not a day goes by where I don't regret what I've done. I wanted to tell her I was ready to repent, but my voice came out flat, insincere.
I don't believe that for a second! You're a liar! A liar and...
But she was cut off by warning bells. I raced back to the settlement center, where I found Rackham.
Goblin sighting! Get everyone inside the gates, pronto!
His voice rose up over the cacophony.
An attack! But my father just left for the storehouse!
Remain here. I'll find him. I left without waiting for a response.
Come on, just like we practiced. Into the gate.
We'll handle the goblins.
Everyone's safe. Should be. Why we're here, isn't it? Now come on, we got Goblin Tail to kick.
I'd like to hear what you think of my technique.
You found your own style, son. That's all you need.
There's more here!
They're trying the pincer maneuver. Vern, you watch over the settlers.
Got it! Leave it to me!
Take this! Back off! Over here, you How about you? Empty fix! Oh no!
There's so many. Where'd they all come from?
Heard this place used to be Monster Central. Guess these are the stragglers.
Bad news, guys! Some girl named Shiraloo has gone missing! No! What if she...
Don't assume anything, Maria. First, we secure the area, then we start a search.
All or nothing. Coming right out. Buttery smooth.
This shrew just can't be
Took that to Harvard.
Id, do you know something?
Great.
We'll get the search party started.
Right after these messages.
Pick it up. On fire! Let's go!
Yep. You reap what you sow.
Stay down.
Hey! I heard Shiraloo's near the windmill!
Yeah, that sounds about right. She was worried about her dad.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's go! Heads up! There's another goblin band over here!
What? Shiraloo, where did you go?
Focus on the fight at hand. Here they come.
Oh, Ted!
Try to keep up.
Here's a little thing. You like that?
Just testing you, lad. Never see it coming. Stay focused. Now you later.
Got you now.
Hurry this.
Is
worry. We're here to help. Do you think you can stay hidden for a bit?
Yeah, I can do that. Thank you.
There's more? Out of my way!
Wait, I recognize that voice.
You're mine! To the front! You're through!
Not bad.
This squad swims
got
together!
him good.
We became one.
Get back!
You're dust.
You're mine!
You ain't going nowhere. Ooh, made my beard stand on end.
I'd say the same about you if I had a beard.
You reap what you sow.
I didn't mean to attempt.
On my way!
Go through this. This is embarrassing.
Go! No running for me!
Looks like we're all clear. You can come out now, Shiraloo.
It was a close call, but we managed to find Shiraloo in time.
Everything's going to be okay now. Thank you.
Lyria ran over to the girl. I don't think Shiraloo was injured, but her face was pale, and her lips were tight. It had to have been me. The reason she looked so pained. If I hadn't forced her from her home, she wouldn't have almost lost her life. I turned and walked a few steps. I'll secure the way back. Bring her when she feels better.
Wait, Id.
Shiraloo needed good people around her. What did I ever bring but suffering?
Need something?
The day after the goblin attack, I had an unlikely visitor. Shiraloo.
You didn't have to save me, but thank you.
That took me completely off guard. I searched wildly in my mind for a response, but all that came out was... I was just trying to do the right thing.
Look, Avia almost destroyed Seed Hollow, and I won't ever forgive you for that. Do you know how many people were hurt?
I'm sorry. Like I said, words, not my strong point. Is there any way I can make amends? I will do anything. She looked at me for a moment. Her lips working, searching for an answer. Her eyes slowly welled up with tears.
Can you bring back the dead? I didn't think so.
If I could trade my life for even one I'd taken, I'd have done it in a heartbeat. But she was right. Those people were gone, and never coming back.
I can't talk about this now. Maybe I shouldn't have come. Have a good... goodbye.
She turned and walked away. Her voice shook the entire time we were talking. With anger, I guessed. And grief. But she'd still forced herself to thank me. It hit me then how kind she was. If Avia had never existed, she might have never known the corrosive influence of hate. Our crimes went beyond the people we killed. Even those that survived, they now had to live with the trauma and sleepless nights. It was all so heavy. I was beginning to see that I'd never be able to atone. Not if I had 100,000 years and all the power in the skies.